Mytty is a coordinator of World Beyond the War of Central Florida, coordinator of the Villages Chapter of Veterans for Peace, and a co-chair of the Florida Peace and Justice Alliance. Al's an Air Force veteran. Welcome home, brother. Take it away, Al.
20 years ago, on this day and around this time, we were horrified that both towers of the World Trade Center had been attacked and were on fire. On that horrible September 11th day, 19 suicidal militants hijacked planes and caused the deaths of 2,977 people. We were in shock with the death and destruction. The dust, debris, ash, and rubble of 9/11 spread through much of Lower Manhattan, and the horror spread across the nation and much of the planet. We wondered what other horrific acts might occur. Yet we were inspired by the courage of the firefighters and other first responders on that day and afterwards. We were united in our suffering and our mourning, and much of the world was united against the insanity of violence. Many of us wanted vengeance and action, and we hoped for justice. But that vengeance and hope for justice helped to spread destruction and death through much of the world. We willingly supported the global war on terror that has resulted in the deaths of millions of people, including more than 7,000 U.S. deaths from military operations and 30,000 military deaths by suicide. 38 million people have been displaced from their homes. We also squandered trillions of dollars that could have been used to be pro-life rather than pro-death. The results of that global war on terror will linger for generations. As Martin Luther King Jr. told us, returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Hate multiplies hate, violence multiplies violence, and toughness multiplies toughness in a descending spiral of destruction. So let us pause for a moment of silence to reflect on those who have died and who continue to suffer from violence, hatred, and terrorism wherever it occurs. Now also during this pandemic, let us thank the store clerks, the garbage collectors, the plumbers, the nurses, and other healthcare workers, the teachers, the delivery personnel, and all the other essential workers who give us the example of service to others. Let us pause in silence now to remember, reflect, and pledge to promote peace and the common good.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
American 77, climb and maintain flight level 350.
3335, all American 77.
American 77, turn 10 degrees to the right, vectors for traffic.
10 right, American 77.
American 77, clear direct Falmouth.
Direct Falmouth, American 77, thanks.
American 77, Indy. American 77, Indy. American 77, American, Indy. American 77, American, Indy. Radio check, how do you read? American 77, American, radio check, how do you read?
Watch approach.
Hey, this is Dulles Approach Control. We're tracking a fast-moving primary heading towards the White House. The White House has been advised.
All right, I'll tell him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Give me a location.
46 are airborne now. That's the ones we got. Third aircraft hijack heading towards Washington.
Okay, American Airlines is still airborne. 11, the first guy, he's heading towards Washington. Okay, I think we need to scramble Langley right now, and I'm gonna take the fighters from Otis and try to chase this guy down if I can find him. Foxy, scramble Langley, head towards the Washington area. Roger that.
Can you tell me if we know for sure it was American 11 that went into the trade center?
We think that's who it was.
Okay.
And we're missing another flight also.
Which flight are you missing?
77.
And when was the last time you knew for sure something about him?
He was in, wait a minute, he's out of Dulles.
Okay, and...
Dulles, LA, and they both apparently have been hijacked.
Patrick ID is coming out. Can I help you?
Latest report, aircraft VFR 6 miles southeast of the White House.
6 miles southeast of the White House?
Yep, he's moving away.
Southeast of the White House?
Aircraft is moving away.
Okay. Moving away from the White House.
I got it.
Gopher 06, traffic is 11 o'clock and 5 miles northbound, fast moving, type and altitude unknown.
Gopher 06, we have traffic inside 12 o'clock.
All right, you have the traffic. Do you know what kind it is? Can you see?
Looks like a 757, sir.
A 757. Can you estimate its altitude?
Looks like he's at low altitude right now, sir.
Gopher 86, thank you.
Hold on. Where's Langley at? Where are the fighters? North, in EV. I don't care how many windows you break. Yes, sir. 386. Why'd they go up there? Damn it. Okay. Push it back.
Gopher 86, Gopher 06, thank you.
I immediately became an angry, bitter person after this crash, and I lashed out in anger and bitterness and called for revenge. My heart was soon changed, especially with the opportunity of getting and displaying the cross here and learning of the faith that Todd Beamer and others on board displayed. It was Todd Beamer who coined the battle cry on the War on Terror, "Let's roll." But it was only after he recited the 23rd Psalm from the Bible and the Lord's Prayer with the 911 ground control operator, and he looking up as he finished his conversation and said, "Are you ready? Let's roll." That's the due north there. That's the south. It points toward the crash site is just over the next ridge. The Tower of Voices, the 93-foot tall wind chime, is just over the ridge from our garden. Remember Me Rose Garden in particular was developed to provide a complement or a contrast to the national park. Also, it became a home for the cross of Flight 93, which was the first tribute that was placed at the crash site overlooking the recovery area as the families of Flight 93 awaited word from the coroner verifying the fate of their loved ones. My hope and prayer is that what people will take away from a visit to this rose garden is a renewed commitment to remember and honor the sacrifice of the heroes of Flight 93, but also a place where the families and others can gather and in solace and just appreciate the beauty that has risen out of the ashes of Flight 93.